I'm 23, graduated college only recently. I lived all my life in big cities and therefore social media should be a big part of my life, only it isn't. I'm one of those rare millennial who just doesn't get the allure of posting my lunch photos and telling people how wonderful my life is, when in reality it's just as mundane as everyone else's. I admit I do have Twitter and Instagram accounts, but I only got them to follow my friends. I have in total of maybe a dozen posts on all of my social media accounts, so that should tell you something about how active I am on them. The other day, my friend Zoe literally begged me to get Snapchat. She's been trying to get me to install it for weeks by that point, and I could no longer say no. So I installed Snapchat and began receiving a good number of messages from 10 people whom I've added as friends. Some of them were genuinely funny, but at the same token, most of the photos and videos were total waste of time, both for me and the people who were sending them. About 2 months ago, it was late at night and I was already in bed when I received a Snapchat from Zoe. She was on a camping trip at the time and the photo she sent showed her campsite. I received another photo while I was looking at the first one, but the second one had a text message on it. The second photo showed the interior of the tent and the text read, "Guess who joined us at the camp?" She looked to be having fun and that's good. I placed the phone right next to my pillow and fell asleep after that. About 3 hours later, I'm awoken by the sound of Snapchat notification. I have forgotten to turn off the damn alerts. I'm up anyway and feel like using the bathroom, so I might as well check the message as well. I sit on the toilet, open Snapchat, and this time it's a video message. It's a footage of someone walking in the woods, presumably Zoe. I hear the footsteps of 2 or 3 people, but the video's really dark and I can hardly see anything. She went camping with her boyfriend and in the previous Snapchat she says someone had joined them, so the multiple footsteps make sense. Not all make sense though. She's in the same time zone as I, and the time right now is 2 in the morning. What in the world are they doing walking around the forest at such late hours? Anyhow, I wash my hands and walk out of the bathroom when another Snapchat arrives from Zoe. It's a video of the same dark forest, but this time I can hear Zoe weeping in the background. Something seems off, but if she's pulling a prank on me, this wouldn't be the first time. She's done something similar in the past, and one time, I even called the police because I thought she was getting beat up by a pizza delivery guy. I feel that it's another prank and I want to ignore it, but still, I feel uneasy about the whole thing. I called Zoe's mom and let her know of all the messages I received so far. She tries to not overreact to it, but there's definitely a huge concern in her voice. She told me she would contact the authorities and I went to bed after that. The next day in the afternoon, I received a message from a mutual friend of me and Zoe. Zoe was officially missing. Her camp was trashed and she and her boyfriend was nowhere to be found. I went to the police right away and gave them all the information I had on the events, which led to Zoe's disappearance. In the end though, I was a little too late to save Zoe. She and her boyfriend were never found. My friends tell me that it's not my fault, but I still feel terrible about the whole tragedy. I keep asking myself if things could have turned out differently for Zoe had I only called the police at least after the second Snapchat. I'm fairly certain the circumstances didn't warrant a search and rescue at the time. At least that's what I tell myself. But you just never know. This is something that's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. About 3 months ago, my friend Gina set me up on a date with her coworker. His name's Cameron, 29 years old, really cute and big muscles to boot. I really liked him at first glance because, as I said, appearance-wise he was a catch. However, after talking to him for half an hour, I knew he wasn't the right guy for me. Cameron's far too deeply in love with himself. The 2 hours of conversation we had over dinner was all about him. I tried to move the conversation to another topic, but 5 seconds later, we go right back to talking about his trip to France, his workout routine, and so on. If he wasn't Gina's co-worker, I would have finished dinner and swiftly left for home. But you know how it is. You don't want to put your friend in an awkward position at work. He told me he'd give me a ride after dinner, but the moron didn't know I had already called my Uber guy while I was in the restroom. He probably knew by that point that I wasn't interested in him, but regardless, he continued to probe. As I waited for my driver, he suddenly tries to change his tune and begins asking about what I like, what I do, and all that. I didn't say much, and things did get awkward in the end. My driver arrives, I say goodbye to Cameron, he tries to go for a smooch, but I smoothly slide off his grip. I called Gina in the car and complained to her about how much of a douche Cameron was. I asked her why she had set me up with such a self-obsessed musclehead, and she told me that he wasn't like that at work. She said sorry, I said it was okay, and that was the end of it. Or at least that's what I thought. For the next 2 weeks, Cameron continues to call me and text me. He tells me how much he enjoyed our dinner and how we should do it again. I would answer his calls maybe once every 10 tries, and it was the same deal with the text messages. I was hoping he would get a clue, but it seemed to me that he couldn't comprehend how a girl couldn't possibly be interested in his big muscle and handsome face. The moron would also send me Snapchats of him working out and flexing his muscle. That might work on some girls, but he had no idea that I could care less if there was nothing happening inside his head. Then one night, I'm in my house cooking dinner for one when I receive a Snapchat from Cameron. It's a picture of him with a text that read, "I'm hungry, how about you?" I get creeped out a little since I'm cooking, but whatever, I place the phone on the counter and continue slicing the onion. Another Snapchat arrives a minute later, and it's Cameron again. It's a picture of him holding a bouquet of flowers, and there's a text that reads, "Open the door for me and this flower is yours." I look at the background of the image, and Cameron's definitely at the front door of my house. I run straight to the bathroom with the knife still in my hand. I call the police and wait for them inside. My heart beats so fast that I feel like I'm suffocating. That's when Cameron knocks on the blurred window of my bathroom and says, "Maybe next time, huh? I'll be back, baby girl." I then feel something wet on the floor and realize that I'm actually peeing on myself. I'm terrified beyond imagination. Thankfully, the police arrived shortly thereafter and they took my statement of the whole incident. I had everything saved in my Snapchat memories, but there wasn't much the police could do with that. Basically, their point was that Cameron didn't do anything unlawful. He didn't break into my house, he didn't physically assault me, and technically, none of his messages were of threatening nature. The police could clearly see what was happening, but none of the evidence I had could be admissible in court as intent to do harm. As you might have guessed by now, Cameron got away with a slap on the wrist. Since then, I had security cameras installed around the house by professionals. They are recorded 24/7. My brother has also been staying at my place, and all's been quiet so far. My life hasn't been the same since, and I become a huge burden on my brother. He can't go out at night, at least not without me. His girlfriend has to come over to my place, which isn't all that romantic. I think I'll have to move and get a new job to end this for good. In all honesty though, I really don't know what I can do to stop feeling like a victim. I found the phone on the street the other day while coming home from school. The phone didn't have any screen lock set up, but it did have a photo open, and there was a message written on it. It read, "Congratulations, if you found this phone, it's connected and it's yours to keep. Shoot me a Snapchat on so-and-so username when you get bored." And that was it. The phone was brand new and it was one of those newer models. Hey, the owner wants me to keep it, so I'll keep it, I said to myself. I went home, then shortly thereafter, my friends came over to hang out. I told them about the phone and my friend Sean tells me to send the Snapchat to the number described on the photo. I open Snapchat and send a photo of something that I wrote on a piece of paper. I wrote down, "Thanks for the phone." That was that, and we began playing on my Xbox for the next half hour, when finally a Snapchat arrives from the original owner of the phone. It's a video message and it shows a puppet theater. One of the puppet has a name tag that reads, "You as in me, I suppose." And there's another one with the name tag, "Me as in the sender, I assume." The video ends with not much else, but a new Snapchat arrives soon after. It's another video, and this time someone speaks while the puppets move. The person says, "I gave you a brand new phone and you've accepted it. Now it's your turn to do something for me." The video ends and there's another one already waiting. The person continues, "There's a trash can right next to the bus stop you get off when you come home from school." The video ends and the next one says, "There's a knife underneath it. I want you to hurt the first person that gets off the bus. Do it now." I have chills running down my spine, and the look on my friends' faces are that of pure terror. We get on our bicycles and go to the police station as fast as we can. Once there, we explained the situation and gave the phone to the cops. They told us to stay at the station and wait for our parents. We did, and we were all picked up after about an hour. After the investigation, my parents were told by the police that the phone had been purchased on eBay with a stolen credit card number. The messages were originating from most likely a burner phone. The case was dead, and they caught no one. I've been feeling extremely nervous ever since the incident, and I developed a new habit of looking back whenever I'm walking alone. Don't ever pick up anything from the streets. As they say, there's really no free lunch in life. My girlfriend Rosie is the one that I love, and she's also my best friend. However, I don't mean it like the way you think I mean it. Rosie really was my best friend before we became romantically involved. So it goes without saying, we had many mutual friends, we know each other's exes, and pretty much all our relationships are intertwined. About a year ago, and it was in the afternoon, I was driving from Colorado to San Diego to spend a couple of weeks at Rosie's parents'. Rosie was already in San Diego and she had been there for a week already. I was running low on gas, and so I stopped at a gas station to fill up. I finished fueling up and I'm about to leave when I receive a Snapchat from someone that I don't recognize. I can see that the username is under my friend list, so I'm thinking it must be a friend of a friend. You know, we all have those people who we add in our contacts at social gatherings, knowing fully well they will never speak to them again. But anyhow, the message is a picture and it shows a man driving. You can see the left hand, the top portion of the steering wheel, and the road this person's driving on. So basically, you can't see the face. I get back on the road and make another stop after 2 hours. This time, I had to take a leak. I return to my car after I'm done with my business, and I'm greeted with another Snapchat. It's another picture, but this time, if I'm right about this, it's showing the gas station where I stopped for fuel 2 hours earlier. It was really creepy too because the picture was taken right as I was leaving the gas station. It showed the rear of my car as I was merging into traffic. So let's think about this. The individual can't be a friend if I don't recognize the username. However, it is under my friend list, and therefore I must have met this person at some point in the past. Would an acquaintance do something like this as a prank of sort? I really doubt it. I don't think anyone with an ounce of common sense would do something like this to someone they barely know. It's just weird, you know? Oh well, it is what it is, and I gotta get to Rosie. I continue driving for another half an hour when the damn Snapchat rings off again. I make it a practice to not use the phone while driving, but I can't help it this time. I check the message and it shows a picture of my car on the road. I think this was taken just now. I look behind me and see a blue pickup truck right on my rear. Then everything goes dark and I lose consciousness. I wake up at a hospital 2 days later, but initially for the first 2 months, I didn't remember any of the things that happened to me. The police informed me that I was involved in a hit-and-run accident. My car had rolled multiple times. I have fractured ribs due to my car being a classic and not having airbags installed. One of my knees was busted, had 2 broken fingers, and a dislocated shoulder as cherry on top. There were no witnesses, and I only had the dash camera installed and not for the rear. It was basically a clean getaway. I began remembering more after a while. They were just tiny pieces of memories, and I couldn't make sense of them. But eventually, I had enough pieces to build a full picture. I remembered the blue pickup truck, and the last moments of seeing the truck ramming me from behind. I spoke to the police again after the memories had come back. Subsequently, through further investigation, we were able to find out that the Snapchat had been sent by Rosie's ex-boyfriend. I knew the guy. Rosie introduced to me many years ago, and I even remember going on a double date with him and Rosie. The evidence was circumstantial, but we had enough to bring the ex-boyfriend in for questioning. Unfortunately though, he had already fled the country through Mexico, and there was no means of finding him. For all you know, he could be in any country in South America. The case is still open, but I don't expect anything to come out of it. Today, I'm still not fully healed, and I still go to rehab 3 times a week. The good thing is, I'm still together with Rosie. But on the downside, there are still many uncertainties for the future. You would think that I should be fully healthy after close to a year of rehabbing, but I'm still not fit enough for even light jogging. In all of my life, I've never wished ill on anyone. But for Rosie's ex-boyfriend, I truly wish he'll rot in hell one day. I was at work the other day, but ironically, I wasn't really working. I was actually checking Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. To be honest, being on my phone takes up about half the time when I'm at the company. It's the same deal with a lot of folks here. I truly have no clue how this company makes money and pays the bill. So anyway, I finally did some work after lunch and got off at exactly 5 p.m. I go to the parking lot and get inside my car when I receive a Snapchat from a stranger. I was actually experimenting with my Snapchat account at the time by giving the app the permission for anyone to send me messages. It was kind of quiet at first. I would receive 1 or 2 Snapchats from strangers per week. Then after about a month, things started picking up and receiving 10 or so Snapchats from strangers was the norm. The message was a photo showing the number 17. Strange, you may think, but it's actually not. I received blank photos in the past, videos of someone walking, and cryptic messages that didn't make any sense. It's just something that happens when you allow everyone on Snapchat to send you messages. So the user unknown continued to send me messages on a daily basis. Yeah, let's call him user unknown for this story. The first message was number 17 as I mentioned, the next one was 8, 25, and the last one that I got was 2045 as in military time. I was able to make sense of the message by that point. It was referring to year 2017, August 25th at 8:45 p.m. You should also know that the date of the last message received at that point was August 20th, 2017. The sun rises on August 21st and the Snapchats continue to be sent. The message on the 21st was "the," as in the sun, the car, the. The 22nd message was "day," as in day 2, 3. 23rd was "you," and the 24th was "die," as in dying or life coming to an end. The message was clear, but who takes these kinds of things seriously? Is the kind of thing a person would say if they weren't themselves in this situation. I for one took it to heart. The odds of this being a real psycho was slim to none, but do you really want to take a chance on possibly getting offed? I did the smart thing, in my opinion. I claimed family emergency, didn't go to work on Friday the 25th, only told my girlfriend of the situation, rented a car instead of driving my own, then began driving aimlessly until Sunday afternoon. I returned home on Monday the 28th. I reluctantly entered my apartment, took a shower, and then went to work. I'm obviously alive seeing as I'm writing to you, but there's still a tiny cloud hanging over my head. I'm not a paranoid person. I've never been known to be one to the people that really know me. But the Snapchats, those really got to me. If there's anyone out there who likes pranking people in such manner, I urge you to please think about the consequences that it has on the people you plan to target. And for those of you who use Snapchat, my advice would be to never allow strangers to send you messages. It's only fun until someone gives you the date of what might possibly be your last day on Earth. Hey guys, Dennis here. This is a quick but very important message, guys. It's become clear to me that some individuals continue to flag my videos since they all become demonetized after a few hundred views. Your thumbs up make a difference, plain and simple. If you've been a subscriber to my channel for some time, then you know that I may ask for your support 2 or 3 times a year. I just don't often bother you with likes. But the situation is different now. The more positive ratings my videos get, the more likely those videos will get reinstated as normal videos. And I know what you might be saying. It's all about money, money, money. But that's not it at all. I no longer care of the little pittance I make through this channel. What's important to me is that my videos get their fair shake. Because in a demonetized state, the videos don't get featured as equally as normal videos. Not to mention the fact that they get age restricted as well. The result is that the videos lose steam early on when they are first published, and they never reach the number of views they would have had they not been flagged and demonetized by false flagging. I've asked for your support in the past, but what I've seen is that people remember it for 1 or 2 videos and then they forget. So to give you an example, I would receive about 300 likes on the videos where I ask for your support. Then about 200 on the next one, and finally things normalize to about 100 likes from the 3rd video. I'm asking for your consistent support to keep this channel alive. And I know there's still so many of you who continue to support my channel, but we need more people to join in to win this fight against false flagging. I'm doing my part by uploading as often as I can, even though I work a full-time job like all of you do. Currently, I basically make nothing through this channel. I pay from my own pocket to fund the production of the videos, and I'm cool with that. All I ask of you is to give me that delicious thumbs up. That's all. Also, when you have a little bit of time on your hands, please do comment and do let me know what I'm doing right or wrong. Part of the joy that I get from running this channel is reading your comments. Lastly, if you don't enjoy my contents, then I don't know why you're watching, but obviously I won't ask you to like my videos. However, if you do enjoy my contents, I once again ask for your support to counterbalance the false reports which are continue to be made. Thank you everyone for your support. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.